Welcome to the Virginia Hospital and Healthcare Association's Patients Come First podcast series. Podcast episodes are available on VHHA.com and on popular podcast hosting apps, including Apple Podcast, Amazon, Spotify, and many others. We're a member of the Virginia Audio Collective and the World Podcast Network. Podcast episodes also air Sundays at 9 a.m. on 100.5 FM, 92.7 FM, and 8:20 a.m. across Central Virginia, and 1650 a.m. in Hampton Roads. Please send questions, comments, feedback, or guest suggestions to pcfpodcast@vhha.com. Again, that is pcfpodcast@vhha.com. And today we're speaking with Kimberly Green, who is the Director of Acute Care Services at Chesapeake Regional Healthcare. Earlier this year, she was with us to discuss Chesapeake Regional's innovative Nurse Draft Day workforce recruitment program. Our topic today is an upcoming workforce event at Chesapeake for nurses called Brunch and Brainwaves. In just a minute, we'll cover that and a lot more. But first, welcome back to the show, Kimberly.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys having me.
Well, it's our pleasure. And we typically like to start these conversations by learning a bit more about our guests. The last time you joined us, we talked about how you started your nursing career with Chesapeake and progressed from bedside nurse and med-surg and behavioral health and ICU, as well as your work on the side as an academic nurse instructor to help train future nurses, all while pursuing your doctorate in nursing practice degree. You also shared about how your chosen profession in nursing was motivated by a desire to give back to the community. Since we've discussed that with you, Kimberly, today we'd love to hear anything that's new with you since we last spoke.
Okay. Well, all of that is very true. Nothing really new on the career front. I am absolutely enjoying my new role here as director. I'm just about a little over 6 months into this role and really enjoying growing with my teams and growing my leaders. I'm still at ODU for working on my DNP. So that's been exciting. I've also accepted a new teaching role at ODU, which I'll be starting this week. So I'm really excited about that as well.
Well, congratulations on all that. Sounds like you've got a full plate. And our conversation, as I mentioned today, is going to focus on efforts at Chesapeake Regional to attract nurses, which is a high-demand field as healthcare organizations work to keep pace with increasing care utilization by patients. Data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics projects that registered nurse workforce will grow by 6% by 2032, which basically means a need for almost 180,000 new nurses over the next 6 or 7 years across the U.S. due to retirements and patient care needs. When we last spoke, Chesapeake Regional was promoting its Nurse Draft Day program to help with nurse recruitment efforts. The Draft Day event involved bringing in nursing students for an opportunity to interview for critical nursing roles at Chesapeake Regional Medical Center. I wonder, Kimberly, if you could tell us how that program has ended up working out.
Sure. The draft day was a huge success for our organization. We've had two since that conversation I had with VHHA the last time. So our first event, we were able to hire about 36 nurses onto our team. Our second event, we did about the same numbers, and we have about a 75% retention rate right now with those graduates. So that's really exciting. It was a great day for the students. That is the one thing I really want to point out is being able, as I said before, to build those relationships with the students in our community. Being a community hospital, it's really important for us to get out there and really nurture our new nurses. So it was a great success, and the students had a really good time. It was a fun day for everybody.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad to hear that you've been able to find new team members to bring on to Chesapeake and that you've been able to retain them, which is always, when we talk about workforce development, there is the recruiting component and there is the retention component in healthcare, and both of them are very important. So glad to hear that those efforts have been successful up to this point. We're recording with Kimberly in late August. Next month, September, Chesapeake will host a recruiting event for new nursing grads as well as experienced LPNs and RNs. That event is called Brunch and Brainwaves, and candidates will have a chance to tour Chesapeake Regional's new critical care tower, to see the state-of-the-art neuroscience and stroke technology on the neurology unit, and participate in on-the-spot interviews. I'm wondering if you could tell us more about this program and in what ways it is distinct from the Draft Day program.
Absolutely. The one thing, here at Chesapeake that we pride ourselves on doing is being innovative. And as a new leader in my new role, I definitely have to go above and beyond and think of new ways to engage nursing students, nurses who have been at the bedside for some years, of course, including our LPN students, because they have a very, very special part in bridging the gaps in the healthcare nursing industry right now. So we came up with Brunch and Brave Ways because we have just finished the reconstruction or the construction on our new unit, which is called 6 South here at Chesapeake Regional Medical Center. It is a 36-bed new neuro unit. So it's neuro and telemetry. Everything is brand new, state of the art, brand new beds. It's beautiful here. It's in the critical care tower. The rooms are huge. They're much bigger. The furniture is very nicely laid out to make sure our patients are very comfortable. So we're going from a 30-bed neuro unit to a 36-bed unit, which is huge for our community because we are constantly holding patients, as most hospitals are right now, with the bed situation, holding multiple patients in our emergency room that are waiting for our neuro beds. And of course, we know the safest thing we can do for our community and our patients is get them upstairs and get them into the bed where they're safe and comfortable. So the organization definitely felt that we needed to make that happen for our patients. So we started construction on the new neuro unit on 6 South, and it has just finished. And we're really, really excited to be moving patients into that unit in September. As the director, I needed to think of a way how to staff that unit. So what better way to come up with one of our inventive ways that we do here at Chesapeake, and I came up with Brunch and Brainwaves.
And we talked that people are going to get tours. They're going to have an opportunity to do interviews on the spot. And this is specifically for the bedside care for nurses who would be involved in treating patients who had neurological medical challenges. Is that correct?
That's correct. So these patients will consist of patients, mostly our stroke population, but also patients who have any type of neuro disorders like seizures, altered mental status. This would be like patients who have dementia. So this is a really, really interesting unit because it does take a very, very patient nurse to deal with this patient population as they have a lot of neurological difficulties, which is why we really want to recruit for those nurses that are really, really interested in joining the neuro unit. Those nurses are really, really special to our community, and so we definitely wanted to put on a show, bring them into the organization. They will have the opportunity to do on-the-spot interviews. They will have the opportunity to tour the unit and the whole new critical care tower. Of course, we definitely want them to see our organization as well, so they'll tour the hospital and some of the new different things that we have coming to Chesapeake Regional Medical Center.
Well, it sounds like a lot of intentional effort is going into this program, just as it did with the Nurse Draft Day, and obviously the results there have been positive, and so fingers crossed and sending good vibes, and hopefully that Brunch and Brainwaves will be similarly successful for Chesapeake. I know that one of the stated goals of this continuing work is for Chesapeake nurse leaders to build relationships professionally with candidates who are nursing school grads, and also to gain a sense of their career goals and aspirations for both people who are entering or already in the nursing workforce. This seems like an intentional focus on acknowledging that these newer generations in the workforce may have unique expectations about the career development pathway, and I will say that is certainly something that is programming that we focused on here at VHHA through our efforts like the Onboard Virginia initiative to try to attract people to come to Virginia, including nurses, to practice their craft and their healthcare career. So I wonder if you could just speak to that idea or that notion of recruitment work. As newer generations come into the workforce, their perspectives might be different from, folks who are of our generation, and how you incorporate that into these innovative programs focused on recruitment and retention.
Yes, the goal is to bridge the gap. We all know, we've done the research, and the research shows that, we are going to continue to have a nursing shortage up until the year 2030. And we have to think, as leaders, we have to think of ways to bridge that gap. So, even though the event is open to all nurses, I do like to focus on our new grads, because our new grads coming out of school, they do have an expectation, a different expectation than nurses who might have come out of school 20 years ago. Technology has changed. Nowadays we have AI, we have virtual nursing. So these nurses are learning different ways of nursing now in nursing schools. And, as organizations out there, we need to bridge that gap, and we need to present them with new ways to be able to take care of our patients. So we need to incorporate virtual nursing, which Chesapeake will be doing here very soon. We're really excited about that, and AI into the daily task that the nurses have to do. Nurses have a very, very hard job. And as leaders, it's definitely our job to make sure that they have everything that they need to make that job easier for them so they can keep our patients safe. So, being innovative and thinking of things like this. And right now, our RSVP is at 71. So it has definitely exceeded our expectations, and we're really excited about that. So, we always try and think of innovative ways to engage our students and our nurses here.
Well, that all sounds very promising, from the RSVP to the forward-looking way that you and your colleagues are thinking about recruiting and working with future generations of healthcare providers, because as you say, with each new generation and advances in technology, things change, the way they're educated change, the training that they receive has evolved, and so being mindful of that as you go about this workforce recruitment and development process makes a lot of sense. And Kimberly, I want to thank you again for taking some time to be with us. We are nearing the end of our conversation, but before we conclude, we do, as you may recall from your past guest appearance here, we do have a tradition on this podcast to close episodes by asking our guests a pair of mystery questions. To keep things interesting, we have a list of 10 that you can choose from, so if you select two numbers between 1 and 10, I'll give you those corresponding questions.
Okay, I'm going to go with 8 and 9.
Okay, number 8 is, tell me one memory from your life that whenever you think of it, it makes you smile.
One memory from my life, when I think of it, it makes me smile. Well, I have a new granddaughter. Her name is Harlow Sage. She's my only grandbaby. And I tell you, whenever I think about her, I smile. She's 1 year old, and she is just the light of my life, and I absolutely adore her and enjoy being a grandmother. So at this moment in my life, every time I think of Harlow, I absolutely smile.
Well, I'm smiling here right along with you. That sounds great. I'm sure you were doting on and spoiling that grandbaby. And then you also selected number 9, and that question is, if you could speak to your younger self, what would you tell her?
Make it happen. Shock everyone. Shock yourself. The mission is personal, and you can do it.
I love it. Be bold. Be assertive. Listen, Kimberly, great answers. Great speaking with you again for a second time on VHHA's Patients Come First podcast. And with that, we have come to the close of another one of our podcast episodes on the Patients Come First podcast series. So if you like what you heard, please make sure to leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and subscribe so that you know when new episodes are released. And we want to once again thank our guest, Kimberly Green from Chesapeake Regional Healthcare, for joining us today. So thank you.
Thank you so much. It was my pleasure.